Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another camera lens review. Today I'm going to be looking at the Venus Laowa 100mm f2.8 2x Ultra Macro APO lens. Now that sure is a mouthful, so from here on out I'll probably just refer to this as the Laowa 100mm macro or the 100mm macro lens. Now let me start off by saying that back in the day I used to use a macro lens all the time. Back when in the DSLR days, I was using this EF version of the Canon 100mm macro. Back when I was on a DSLR platform, used it for a lot of years. Used it professionally for magazine work. I used to do a lot of freelance writing and photography. Used it for my websites. It was really my go-to lens for watch photography back in the day, and that lens made me a lot of money. When I started using that lens, the L version that subsequently came out was not available. It wasn't on the market yet, so I started using the EF version, and it was an incredibly sharp lens. As a matter of fact, when the L series version of the lens did eventually come out, I borrowed it from Canon and did a side-by-side with my EF version, the non-L version, and I couldn't really see a big difference in sharpness. Now fast forward to my transition to the mirrorless realm, and I did want to pick up a newer lens that theoretically was sharper to take advantage of the higher resolution cameras. I have the Laowa 100mm macro lens mounted on my Canon R6, but I normally use it with my Canon R5, but I'm using that to shoot the video at this time. I picked this lens up about a year ago. The price at that time was about $500. Now, as of this recording, there are some coupons on Amazon where you can get it for about $430, which is absolutely incredible. There is an Amazon affiliate link in the description. Now, the biggest advantage to this lens is the fact that it is so darn sharp. It is a super sharp lens. Don't be put off by the price, the fact that it's a third-party lens, thinking that it is not going to be sharp. It absolutely is sharp. Let me go ahead and jump right into some sample photos that really show off what this lens can do. First, let me just show you this photo of my Rolex Submariner. This is a photo that's not too dissimilar to the kind of photos that I would take back in the day for magazines. Very simple lens, setup with just the watch, very basic background. Normally I would shoot either all white or all black, which is what magazines wanted. Basically you were doing catalog type photos, but you were doing things just a little bit differently than what the brands were doing themselves for a catalog photo. And for that type of work, this Laowa lens is going to be fantastic. You can see, the sharpness is amazing. The APO, I believe that's a coating that's on the lens. That APO that's in the long name refers to a coating which reduces and or eliminates chromatic aberration. So very, very clean from a color contamination standpoint. It's just an amazing lens. Here is another photo of my my Submariner, which this is more what you tend to see closer, in theme or appearance to the type of photo that you might see on Instagram now, where the watch isn't just by itself; it's got stuff in the background made with it. Maybe other watches, maybe other props. I'm using a watch, a little watch pouch, a Rolex watch pouch as a prop here. But again, you can see just how sharp that this lens is. Great bokeh in the background. Let me show you another photo of, again, of my my Submariner. I picked this up new not too long ago, so I've taken a lot. Here I have some of the lights in the background so you can see the bokeh balls. I just kind of threw this together quickly for demonstration purposes, but the bokeh balls are really nicely shaped. You know, the bokeh is very pleasing, very smooth, and you know, again, just really, really nice. You know, can't complain about that at all. Let's move to, you know, a close-up image that shows, you know, really what you can do with this lens. This is a photo that I took of my my Tudor Black Bay Chrono. And I'll show a photo that I snapped with my iPhone just to show you how close the lens can get to the subject. That's, you know, that's no more than, you know, maybe a couple, 3 inches. That's about a three fingers distance between the end of the lens and the watch crystal there. And you can see here is the actual photo of what was captured at that distance, you know, with the amazing magnification that you can get from this lens. This is uncropped. This is straight out of my R5, just with a 16 by 9 resolution there for showing it on YouTube. Now, if you do take advantage of the megapixels that the R5 has and you crop in, you can see some really amazing detail in the printing on the dial and just how perfectly the printing is done. If you zoom in even a little bit more just on the date window there, you just get in a really amazing shot, and you see details on the date wheel itself that you could just never see without such extreme magnification. So, you know, are there any negatives to this lens? Well, the only real negatives, you know, to the lens are the fact that it doesn't have any autofocus, which I almost never use when I do watch photography. I generally want to control where the lens is focusing, so I almost always you know, do manual focus in anyway. So the fact that it doesn't have autofocus is not a big deal for me or for watch photography, in my opinion. Same with, you know, image stabilization. Typically I'm shooting on a tripod, so don't really, you know, need image stabilization. There's no weather sealing really to speak of. As a matter of fact, the front of the lens, they give you just a straight glass filter. Otherwise, the element, the internal element, is completely exposed on the lens. You know, even though I never take this outside, I always shoot, you know, in a studio environment like this. I do keep the you know, the glass filter on there just to protect it. What else? The fact that it is a purely manual lens means that you don't get a whole lot of information transmitted from the camera to the image. Basically, it's only when you open the image in Lightroom, you're only going to see the ISO setting. You're not going to see anything about the aperture or the fact that you're shooting at 100 millimeters. So a little bit of a downside, not a big deal for me in that regard. You know, it allows a Chinese company. You know, I try to not buy Chinese when I can. But certainly the build quality seems very, very good. It's mostly metal. It's a fairly heavy lens. You know, it's probably the same weight as some of the larger plastic RF lenses that I have in my collection. You know, but you know, other than those, you know, negatives, I think if you're doing watch photography in a studio setting, this is an absolutely amazing lens. You'll get absolutely wonderful results from this. Cannot recommend it, you know, more. And I can't imagine purchasing the Canon RF 100mm macro over this lens unless you absolutely have to have autofocus or image stabilization. You can actually, you know, absolutely get pro grade image quality from this lens. And again, I highly recommend it, particularly for the price. There's not a lot of third-party lenses out there for the Canon RF platform as of this recording, but this is definitely one that I think everybody should get. And the fact that it is a manual focus lens, I have a lot of fun with it. I enjoy using it. And, you know, I typically shoot in all manual mode anyway. And, you know, it just gives you a little different shooting experience. Well, there you have it. That's kind of my quick review of the Laowa 100mm macro lens, and you know, how I use it in watch photography. Highly recommended for that purpose, or for, you know, any other kind of small product photography, maybe EDC type photos. You know, would really be fantastic for that kind of an application. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. God bless. We'll see you in the next video.
I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.